I'm going to be tying up this fly. I mean, I already tied it, but sick cat over peach with copper. Do I feel like committing to this right now? Kind of. I guess we're setting records. I am tying the back half of, I think, probably something that's going to be like a dungeon. We're going to put that on hold. And tie a musky fly. As you can see with my hoodie, that is manufactured by children. I'm lucky I'm not employed. Free fly. That's not, we have no affiliation. Yeah, fly fishing shirt. It's a hoodie. It's October, so obviously musky, right? Right? Pumpkin spice musky. Here in the South, you know, generally speaking, people aren't fishing for musky outside of the colder months. And of course, there's good reasons for that, just like there's good reasons for me putting a layer of thread and then popping it off the ice. Water temperatures, etc. I fish a river that is, it's the headwaters. And there are musky through a large portion of the river. But in the top, let's say, 10 miles, just to screw with some of you, it's mid 70s at its hottest. We're talking midday, low water, full sun, 3 o'clock in the afternoon type deal. And when we get colder nights, we had a little spell in August that the temperature feels, the river feels that the temperature feels something. I don't fucking know what I'm saying. It drops, and because it's low, it has been low, those shifts in overnight temperatures really impact the water, and it's real socked in. So this is just some shitty wire, some 7x7 cheap beadalon. And so instead of using all of my 40-pound leader bite wire or all of my 60-pound mono and fluoro, I'm just like, well. Honestly, it's just because I couldn't find, I don't know where the 50-pound is. I think it's out in my car. And I use that for stuff, I don't use this 7-pound or this 7-strand beadalon So again, as with, I forget the last video. Oh yeah, I was putting the stinger on that mouse. Just holding wire. And then I'll show you what, nope, still can't do it because it's 2. If you, now I'm going backwards. If you are doing this with mono and you're tying the bees flies, you can hold that mono in your hand and just twist it. And now I have my layer of thread, as always. I don't know if that's, I do know for not slipping around. Whatever. You know, you end up tying these with, you know, 150, 200 strand GSP, and I'm putting whatchamacallit, UV resin on everything. So I mean, we'll see how this works. I'm pretty sure. Let's go on south. Watch this. Plastic on metal on GSP. Sort of slippy. Add super glue. Not slippy at all. And here's the thing with tying. You can do, there's 4 camera holes looking at me. You can do whatever you want, which is crazy. How? I fucking, you know, it's wild that it feels like I'm about to get on a soapbox. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to follow rules. So I was just doing that, which is pretty cool. I ordered bone dry in both the bone dry, regular, and the new flex, you know, 2 months ago. And after about a month, I got, this is part of a larger order. The rest of the order arrived, the packing list, all good. Bone dry, nowhere to be found. Bone dry flex, pretty excited about that, nowhere to be found. And I haven't even emailed them. Honestly, because it's just been like pulling teeth to even get orders placed. Like, I want to pay you money, right? So, seems like I should probably say something about that. I will. That's just some UV resin to coat those thread wraps. You know, if the rattle falls off, whatever. But at the same time, if I'm going through the trouble of putting a rattle on, I'm even when I'm production tying, almost even more so when I'm production tying, because I don't want some shit going out that, you know, has my name on it. And gosh, especially in the musky fly fishing world, you want to talk about thin skin. I don't need something that I have going out that, regardless of what it is, it has cake icing on the in the middle to attract the muskie, who, scientifically speaking, and this has been shown over a number of different studies, and not just the South, but especially in the South, they love sweets. So I put a fly out there that has strawberry cake icing, and you don't want to put in the food coloring. You want to use actual strawberries, because using that red 40 or any combination of those petroleum-based dyes is just not good for the fish. So I put in that, and then it gets to whoever, and they're looking at it and fish it, and then the cake icing falls out or falls off or isn't strawberry flavored, and heaven forbid that the cake icing on one fly is sort of middle of the fly, and then on another one it's a little, that's no good. So anyways, those production orders are, I think, for some people, but maybe not for me. That sounded really fucking entitled, but I'm super fucking entitled. I think that I thrive in a place of creativity and what about this and how about that? Not, I just made this fly, laid out all materials. Now I need to make this fly look exactly the same, even though, two people aren't going to buy it. And even if they are, or the same person's not going to buy two, and even if they are, wouldn't you want something a little different? Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I think we're going sick cat, which is this color, to with some olive, with some notes of olive. I'm into that. And definitely some copper, some krennic. Taking those super long ones out, I've started to put a little more bucktail in my flies. Thoughtfully, but yeah, one of the places I think that I've historically have shorted myself is on the booty, and thinking that I would just go, really sparse to more and more dense. Um, but that's part of it, tying and fishing. You tie a bunch, have a style, try things that you like, that you see from other people, and that you experiment with and try yourself, and then figure out what works for your style, what looks good on video and Instagram, and what actually makes the muskie go. Did you see that fly? I don't even care if it's not a fish. That's what you want the muskie to do. Krennic. I've also been going, I mean, it kind of depends on, I guess, I want flash. I'm not gonna act like I don't. I want to see the damn thing, especially when I'm doing natural colors. And it doesn't need to be crazy, but I think it should have something. It should have something going on. Some of them I like to be crazy. I like the attention getting. The cool part about Krennic is that it swims, so it adds a little bit of, it's textured. We're gonna do Krennic. We're gonna do I don't even know what's behind door number 2. Goodness gracious. We're gonna do some of that. Oh. Some red tipped orange. Yes, please. And then just for fun, just for fun. Sona Beach. I'm going to That doesn't even make any sense. I'm not going to do that. This is why stuff takes me a long time. That is 6-inch. We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. And while we do that, We're also going to go Magnum Flashaboo. And Capper. I'm going to save these super long pieces. Those get to go. When I feel like tying a Technicolor beast. I'm leaving a couple in there, but it's all right. I can just keep restacking them and chopping off a 1/20th of an inch and making some people squirm. Now for aesthetics, feel free to make sure these wraps in there are nice and tidy and put some bone dry. As with most of my streamers, larger streamers in general, kind of trying to avoid the close to the bend ties on the bottom so that things aren't getting fouled up, because all this compresses and comes back and metal doesn't compress. So most of that's going to be covered, and we gonna go back to, I don't know why I have to start dropping the apostrophes. We are going to go back to the Sick Cat flavored and scented, sorry about that, Bucktail. So yeah, I would say call it the arc of my Bucktail tying is probably too sparse in the back, too heavy in the front. And for a while there, I mean, a lot of it doesn't matter, but yeah, relying a bit more on, I don't want to say relying on feathers for bulk, but I would adorn. And the more and more you fish, it's just what's making the difference, and what's making the difference in the casting. There's some implications of, if you put on like 3 or 4 really dense, webby, that's a 4/0 Predator Stinger, Ahrex, it is sharp, dense, webby schlop, and you actually get some of that turnover assist because it holds the water. But yeah, I think just like visually, both on the vise and in the water, kind of using the accents as, I don't know, maybe it was sort of tricking myself, just thinking that there was more going on there than there really was. But yeah, so I'm just, this will change too at some point, but get in the habit of going a little heavier on the booty and a little more sparse up front. And again, those aren't absolute littles. I'm saying a little heavier relative to, I don't think, putting nearly enough bulk in the back, and then a little heavier or a little more sparse in the front. It's not going to be very, very sparse, but I was just putting on, I think, too much bulk in the front. And what happens is, yeah, like I want a little more. What happens is you get this, the front hook. Bucktail needs to have gaps in between the tips. And so if you're making up for bulk by tying in a hunk up front, you don't get swim. And you get good kills and all that, but again, it doesn't matter. Who knows? But I do know what I want it to look like. And like this, for example, that's not going to cut it. Yeah, it'll swim fine. Yeah, it'll cast great. Do I prefer this look for what I'm trying to do over something with more meat in the back? No. I want something with, you know, why reverse tie and then tie on a straight? You'll be okay, I promise. One of the biggest secrets, I think, in fly tying is that there is no substitute for tying flies and then going to fish them. You can't know what you're doing until that happens. And you can't really understand how materials work together until you're fishing them. And then if you want to start getting into, oh, do they catch fish, then whew. When were you fishing them? How often were you fishing them over X? This is UV Shimmerboo from Hedron, and I'll sit here all day. I'll sit here tomorrow, the next night. My daughter's going to be graduating college, and I'll be sitting here telling you what. I'm pretty sure this is everything I've been looking for my entire life. Now, it's like the UV copper. The UV copper polar chenille that I absolutely love. I'm pretty sure that the copper in the UV copper is Krennic, and I'm pretty sure this Shimmerboo is that UV material, because you add them together and it looks like a giant version. It looks like you're tying in super XL UV polar chenille. Yeah. Fine, I'll use it. I'll use it on the bottom. And then another secret to Bucktail. One, it takes care of itself. If it needs to redistribute itself while swimming, assuming you're not going too bonkers with whatever it is you're doing, it'll move around. It'll look okay. And then two, mash it around. I mean, if it's looking a little cockeyed, or this thumbnail it's like the drug dealer's pinky nail. That thumbnail stays long for a reason. And it's not like I don't know, it's kind of a very strange and humble brag soft flex. Not really intentionally, but I tie a lot of flies. I tie with a lot of bucktail, even though I'm not always posting about it. But really do enjoy it. And then other materials, flash in general. I mean, to just be able to get a clump down and just do that is a very effective way to distribute materials around the hook. I think these are 40 millimeter. I like the 55s. They start to get a little long to tie on, in my opinion. I guess if you have a brush, they're a little easier. How's that looking? We good? We good on angles? Audio? Mic? Mic check? Is that, you said it's a little high? I spend more and more time, let me restart that sentence. The more I tie, as a percentage of the entire time I take to tie a fly, I'm spending more time on the rear sections. And that I started noticing that with game changers, and asking myself why, as one should do. I came to appreciate that it was because I tied so many that sucked. And that tail, and the first 2 or 3 sections are, you set up the rest of the fly. And so if you're off there, you're either chasing shitty proportions, chasing your tail, trying to make up for one thing or another, too much, not enough. I think that's the only option. That's what you're doing. So you spend more time. Well, you don't spend more time on the fly. You kind of do, and then you end up with a shitty product. So I think that's ultimately where I am with it. A lot of the times I'll put in body tubing right there. I am not going to. I'm going to just tie in some GSP. If you can't tell, this is less of a tying tutorial and more of a... This is kind of how I tie. This is my creative process. I think that there are a lot of good tutorials out there and a lot of people who do them well, and they're very valuable. Just like the commercial tying, everything being exactly the same. I don't know. I think there's some value in it. Sort of hurts my ego a little bit, but just not totally calling a spade like I can't do it, because I'm pretty sure I could, but it's not, it doesn't come naturally. I wouldn't say that's my strong suit. I'm sitting here wanting to swear and talk about some old bullshit and all them. So one of the things that a lot of those fly time videos did for me, and I've said this in other videos, is when I was not, maybe it's mentally, creatively, depressively, if I wasn't feeling good, and again, that could be anything from, really serious personal issues to work to just I've been tying the same damn thing. I'd like to do something else. Watching some of the videos, Josh, Varner, Gunner, Kelly, listening to Tommy's podcast, it just got the juices flowing. It got me saying, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. So if I can make someone say, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there, then I'm starting to work back towards some positive karma. Otherwise, I am in the red. So another hard to say tip with this one, when I'm just gonna follow it up with like fucking figure it out. Actually, yeah, I think that if I heard figure it out a little earlier, I probably would have fished more. I'm not sure if that's true, but it is just so important to go out and fish your flies. But the how much bucktail you're using, it depends on the type of bucktail you have. And the crinklier stuff, I'm going to glue that bolt in at some point. For now. But same principle as, well, Bernoulli's principle. Sorry, trigger warning. We're going all the way up here. That when you have stuff moving through a liquid, or rather a liquid moving, liquid or gas moving over, when you have particles moving over stuff, the ones that are moving faster have a lower instantaneous pressure. Trigger warning for that word, instantaneous. double trigger warning for the use of instantaneous pressure. More surface area equals faster. Water has to travel over more stuff. So if it's crinklier, rougher, whatever you want to call it, the water has to move over it faster in order to reach the end at the same time as the other stuff. So the straighter fibers just, they move a little less. You can still get good bulk and all that, but yeah, they're just different. So one must treat them differently. So I'm going to do one more. That's 2 reverse ties with not really a whole lot of that reverse chunk. And I don't want a whole lot of that reverse chunk. I don't want this thing being very buoyant, so I'm not going to leave a whole lot of the most buoyant part of Bucktail is the base, even in your non-puffy stuff. And I'm starting to, again, I'm handicapping my ties to air on top. I want this thing keeling and being head up. A lot of the times I'll throw in flash kind of in the middle, but I'm not going to right now. So right here, it's not locked in yet. I did a whip. It's GSP though, and I'm just gonna give it an eye. Give it a little mash around, and then say I'm happy with that. Now we're gonna do more of that. UV. Those butts are probably going to be covered by my head ties. Sometimes I do that where it's like I know it's going south, and I know that I should be like restarting where I'm gripping it or something, but I'll try to like overtake how bad it is. A giant pet peeve of mine is when flash like starts to get all interwoven between the front and the back. There's enough mass on that back to have it not really be an issue. It's the importance of that occurs a bit more in the trout world. I think that we're just going to save that chunk. Hmm. One shade down. Kind of a light olive. Little bulkier. I had some. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Copper plated. Don't mind the snot on my fingers. Copper plated lead eyes. You can put, put some wire, whatever. If you're watching this and you're about to lose it because I'm putting lead eyes on a musky fly, remind yourself this is a shank. Back in my professional, wait, that's not right, my office job, you get strengths and then you get areas for improvement. And my boss, big ups to Jeff, what was that? Oh yeah, he would, he respected that some of it was just, you got to do them, you got to do the reviews. And I also, my style of working was I'm working, I'm getting stuff done. I'm not there as an open cubicle environment. I'm not there to socialize. I socialize with my friends. I'm here because this is my place of employment. And that translated to, I want to say verbatim, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, no, it is. He said that I had a resting bitch face in the office, which that still kills me. It's like, yeah, I see that. I feel like that's followed me into tying. Not that I'm actually a bitch, but can be, I guess. Magnum Flashaboo. We're just gonna put these other chunks on too. This is 100 strand. I should be using 200 strand probably, but I'm not. So, how you like me now? Peach to yellow. We are going to take those. I mean, those are probably like somewhere between 8 and 12-inch fibers. And just put that in my collection of foot-long bucktail fibers for the beast flies. Some of the stuff in fly tying, I don't know. I think I laugh at myself, and I think that makes it easier to laugh at other people or seem like a hypocrite. I'm not sure, but stuff I think that is really effective or cool. Some of it's just the novelty, like when I find a new material or a new color. I've talked about this peach. It actually is the best color, the best fishing color that's available. I mean, not even available on market. This is like black market stuff. But yeah, some of the stuff where I'm just like, oh man, this is the best. God, tying bees the tying bees flies is addictive. I think bucktail to a certain extent as well, because you start getting into it, and when you start getting into it, and it's something that is pretty complicated, um, and you get into the groove. It's kind of like you don't want to you want to keep being in that groove. Did I not? We're just gonna walk this back. We're kind of starting to lose it here. No, I'm not. Just gonna sneak that in. It's okay. If you're walking back through bucktail, just wiggle, kind of a side to side as you're pulling. But yeah, I think that Gunner. This happened with me where it's like I saw him tying with yak, and I was just like, damn, dude. And I got some yak, and I was like, this is the truth, and it is cool. It's awesome. But I'm not sure if he knows this, but he like kind of creates. He's a trendsetter. Um, which is cool. But yeah, the last 2 years, the number of people requesting bucktail with 6-inch fibers or greater. I mean, if I didn't process as much bucktail as I do, which is thousands in my own hands, I don't know if I would see a tail. Maybe it shows. I don't know if I'd see a tail with 6-inch fibers all around it. I mean, that looks like it's almost bizarre to look at. It doesn't look like anything that is available in stores, and you just don't see many of them. And you don't need that many to kind of get that continual flow look for beast flies. That'll be for a different video. So pretty sloppy up here at the front, but I'm just going to come up in here, put some real hard turns. That'll end up getting sucked under on that shank, under that bucktail, and then I'm going to come in with my 140 and just create a little thread dam. So I do have a thread dam down. We like that. That just broke. Now I'm going to use my GSP to really cinch it back down in there. Clean up the breakage here, the tie-on excess. Super glue. And just do my best to stop. It's like I have to let me get on the river first. Musky, will you please let me, like, I like fishing. Let me put some casts in before you just mow this thing down. I tied it to fish it. I didn't just tie it for you. That ended up being pretty cool. Kind of a different look. I'll probably end up trimming some of this bottom stuff off if it's not looking right, but